Boys and girls, this is Mrs. Faye Coble, and she's going to be sharing some information in a book with you, so you give her your good attention, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question first. Did you have breakfast this morning?
Yes.
Okay. Did you sleep on a nice soft bed last night?
Yes.
Okay.
Even though I fell off.
Oh my goodness. But you slept on that nice soft bed. You got up this morning and you put your clothes on, correct?
Correct.
You got on cotton jeans and shirts. Okay. Well, do you know what that meant?
What?
That meant that a farmer did something for you. They grew the cotton. They grew the cotton for your clothing, the cotton for your sheets. They grew your food. So without a farmer, you wouldn't have any of that. So that has to happen before it all gets to you. So today, how many of you like soup? Okay. Uh-oh, I got one that's not too sure about soup. Okay. So today we're going to talk about who grew my soup. Now, I bet you sometimes you have soup in the cafeteria for lunch. All right. Well, this book is about a boy named Phineas Quinn. A boy of age 10 named Phineas Quinn was out playing ball when his mom called him in. It's lunchtime, she said. Here's something nutritious. This instantly made young Finn Quinn most suspicious. It's yummy, she said with a smile brightly beaming as she gave him a bowl of soup gently steaming. I've been reading this book so much it don't hold up real good, does it? Finn looked down and thought, yuck, it's vegetable gunk. The food I prefer are the foods she calls junk. Fake colors and flavors, delicious and dandy. They're in all my favorite sodas and candy. Chemical additives, yum, they're the best. The snack foods I crave are preserved and processed. The stuff that's deep fried and loaded with sugars, but vegetable soup, yikes. I'd rather eat boogers.
Boogers?
Oh, let's not do that. This looks too healthy. I bet it tastes yucky. So Finn hatched a plan, and oh boy, was it tricky. Look, he's not happy, is he? Looking at his soup. I'll eat it, said Finn. Yes, I'll happily do it, as soon as you tell me who grew it. Like you always tell me, said Phineas Quinn. Don't put that in your mouth. You don't know where it's been. I bet you've heard that before, haven't you? Yes. These veggies might come from some weird far-off land, like Outer Mongolia or distant tan. They might come from places like North Lost Mandu or Timbuk too far or West Hinderloo. Reckon? Y'all heard of any of those places?
No.
I hadn't either. He was being tricky, wasn't he? So he says, who grew these carrots? You see a carrot?
Farmers.
There you go. Who grew these carrots? I'm going to lay my carrot down right there. And he said, who grew these tomatoes?
Farmers.
Right. And I've got a couple of different types of tomatoes in here.
Farmers.
There we go. Okay. And these beans and this barley, this corn and these potatoes. Who sprouted the spinach? Who planted these peas?
Farmers.
And who picked this celery? Tell me now, please. I'll not take one sip of this vegetable goop unless you tell me who grew my soup.
Farmers.
There you go. Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to learn some of these farmers here. While Finn thought himself oh so terribly clever, he'd never have guessed what came next. Never, ever. His eyes popped, his jaw dropped, he fumbled his spoon. From the sky came a flying tomato balloon. The pilot in goggles was shouting hello from a rather large cooking pot hanging below. See him in there? Hop in, hurry up, climb aboard, tally-ho. Tally-ho, yeah. Where are we going? Finn asked, almost alarmed. We're going, the man said, to where soup is farmed. I'm Mr. Matto, Chief Soup Supervisor, and we won't come back until you're super wiser. Our trip won't take long, not at all. No, indeed. This balloon can achieve supersonical speed. As soon as he said it, they flew away, zoom, with a whoosh and a whir and a big sonic boom. Finn summoned his courage. He took a look down and found they were already back on the ground. Finn met Farmer Hitchner. Hitchner met Finn. Mr. Hitchner's the farmer whose fields we are in. These carrots are all his. Hitchner's a genius, a soup-growing whiz. Do you know how the carrots grow?
Yes.
Do they grow on top of the ground, in the ground? In the ground, and that's the top of the carrot, and we pull it right out, don't we? A really yummy looking carrot. What's carrots? What's carrots? Asked Finn as he looked all around. They're down here, said Hitchner. They grow under the ground. They grow in the dirt. Young Finn nearly gagged. Gee, I've only seen them in stores, washed and bagged. We see lots of them that way, don't we?
Are those real?
No, they're not. They're plastic. Because they would, I hate to waste anything like that. And if I had brought them out and left them out and handled them and played with them, I wouldn't want to eat them. So I just got some that just a little fake. Okay, Hitchner took hold of a green carrot top, tugged, turned, and twisted, and pulled it out. The most beautiful carrot in the world, that more perfect than any that's ever been grown. A superstar carrot. Matto said, can't beat it. So here's an idea. I'll wash it. You'll eat it. Finn would rather get cookies, but being polite, he knew he had no choice. He must take a bite. It seemed that no sooner than they left the ground, they crossed 17 states and were dropping back down in a field of tomatoes, all ripe, red, and round. Finn met Farmer Perez. His thumbs are quite green. The tomatoes he grows are the best ever seen. This is delicious, nodded young Finn. A red, ripe tomato juice ran down his chin. Oh, good, super duper, called Mr. Matto. Superlative. Come on, we've lots more to do. Farm to farm, field to field, whiz, whiz through the sky. From onions so fine they could make a man cry. I think I've got an onion tucked down in here somewhere.
I hate onions.
Yeah, I got an onion right there.
That's
Yeah, that's a red onion.
That's even worse than tater tots.
All right. From onions so fine they could make a man cry, to potatoes, to peas, in the blink of an eye. They stalked the best celery, they got to know beans, and met growers who know how to grow greener greens. Would you like to take a ride in that balloon? That tomato balloon? I don't know whether I would or not. Okay. Mato gave a cheer at the end of the day. These farmers deserve a big hip hip hooray. They're all superheroes. They're all super great. They grow the best soup anyone ever ate. But it's time to go home now, said Mr. Mato. You have your answers. My work here is through. And then, just like that, Finn was back in his chair. And that big bowl of soup, steaming hot, was still there. Guess I'll have to try it, said Phineas Quinn. So he opened his mouth and spooned some soup in. He swallowed. He sighed. He knew he'd been beaten. The soup was the best thing that he'd ever eaten. Finn said, "Hey, how come we've never had this before?" His mom, she just laughed. Then she served him some more. Well, my pages don't turn anymore. So if you're someone who thinks soup is scary, if facing a bowl makes you worried and weary, take some soup in your spoon, put the soup to your lips, and then say these words right out loud between sips. Who grew my soup? That's what I'd like to know. Who grew my soup? That's where I'd like to go.
I'm gonna be a farmer.
And a souped up balloon might drop down from the blue with a friendly old fella named Mr. Mato, who will take you aboard and then zoom off with you. It might not, but still, either way, any day you eat soup is a super good day. So, who grew my soup? What'd you think about that? A farmer grew your soup. Yes. Now, if you got soup in front of you and the next time, you going to try it? Okay. Because you know where it all came from, don't you? You eat soup every day?
Almost every day.
Oh, you eat onions in your soup? Sometimes.
I eat raw onions by themselves.
Mm-hmm. They're good, yes. Okay, well, we're going to talk about peanut butter and jelly.
Okay. We're looking for the best listeners. Cora can't be beat. Look at her being great.
All right. Easy to make and yummy to eat. But where does the food come from? The grocery store. Is that right? It does, but has to come from somewhere else first. Bread in the bread aisle, peanut butter stacked on the shelves, jars of jelly lined up in a row, put in a shopping cart, pay on the way out. Carry into kitchens where sandwiches are made. PB&J, hooray! But where does the grocery store get the food? Okay. Carry into kitchens where sandwiches are made. PB&J, hooray! But where does the delivery trucks get the food? You've seen the trucks along the roads that carry food to the grocery stores? Bakeries and factories. Bread is baked in bakeries. Flour, yeast, eggs, knead, rise, and bake. You see what they're doing there in that bakery? And see, I have some bread right here that you would, that's real bread. All this is real. Yeah, that's real bread. That's just white bread. And look, I've got some wheat bread.
Oh man, I don't like
Whole wheat bread? Don't like. Well, I have a heart condition, and they tell me that I need to eat wheat bread, so I make my own wheat bread. So this is my homemade wheat bread.
I'd like to try that. I can make some.
Peanut butter is made in a peanut butter making factory. Shell the peanuts, roast and grind. Some for crunch, more for smooth. Who likes crunchy? Who likes smooth? I'm a smooth one myself.
I like both.
I like the smooth peanut butter myself.
Well,
All right.
I
Jelly is made in jelly making factories. Concord grapes, fresh off the vine, cook, stir, pour, seal with a lid on the top. Well, mine is actually not grape jelly because I didn't have any grape jelly made. But I made the jelly myself out of blackberries that I grew myself, picked myself, and made my jelly. So I have extra special jelly. Carry into kitchens where sandwiches are made. PB&J, hooray! But where do the bakeries and factories get the ingredients to make their food? Farmers' fields. Flour comes from stalks of wheat that grow in long, straight rows. Have you seen wheat growing? Right now it's green. Oh, it's really green. And in the next couple of months it will start turning yellow and brown in the fields. We do have some wheat grown here in Tennessee, but so many of the things that we eat, we don't have the climate in Tennessee to raise that, and we don't have the temperatures that would raise that kind of thing. So some things have to come from other states. Peanuts grow in soil. Grapes grow on vines. Sunshine, rain, harvest time. Most of your peanuts grow in Georgia. And we can grow peanuts here, but we don't grow a large amount of peanuts, not enough to supply the world. Bread in the bread aisle, peanut butter stacked on shelves, jars of jelly lined up in a row, put in a shopping cart, pay on the way out. Carry into kitchens where sandwiches are made. PB&J, hooray. But what do farmers need to get their crops to grow? Farmers plant seeds. I heard seeds in soil, so wheat, peanuts, and bunches of grapes will grow. So where do bread, peanut butter, and jelly come from? Seeds are planted, crops grow. Bakeries bake, and factories make. Truck drivers pull up at bakeries and factories, then pull up to the loading dock at the grocery store. I bet some of you have seen them parked at grocery stores unloading things.
Yeah.
Bread in the bread aisle, peanut butter stacked on shelves, jars of jelly lined up in a row, put in a shopping cart, and pay on the way out.
I believe that's the end. Nope.
Carry into kitchens where sandwiches are made. Peanut butter, jelly, bread. I have a hard time turning my books today, don't I? It's finally time to say, PB&J, hooray! So that's where peanut butter and jelly comes from.